What some believe to be the best day of the entire season is finally here, November 7th. Falling right at the beginning of the peak breeding phase, bucks are still aggressively searching for their next hot doe. Last year on this day, conditions were nearly perfect, and the action that followed reflected that. 365 days later, the November heat wave continues, and the cooler mornings remain our closest friend. Hoping to take advantage of this, Caleb Greiner is kicking off his 2021 rutcation back on the River Bottom farm.
Good morning, guys. Today is November 7th, and I'm back down at the River Bottom farm. Today we're in here for a deer that I actually was hunting last year in late season. And I call that deer Tripod. He's got 3 legs, and he is an absolute hammer this year, you guys. For the past 3 years, this deer has actually been a homebody on this farm. Where I'm actually set up on today is at that point that I was talking about and Collins was talking about here a couple weeks ago. I mean, years ago, this is where all the action used to be, with the old 10, with Tripod, with Haas. So far, I've actually had Tripod come out of the food plot, chasing the doe right in front of me about 80 to 100 yards. And he worked her off. It looks like they went back towards the west, so I'm sure he'll be on that doe for quite some time. It did look like she was hot. There's a lot of other really good deer in this area. My number one deer in this farm is actually Turkeyfoot, and he's disappeared for the past 4 weeks. I'm not really sure what's going on there. I mean, he moved in to the farm here on like the 5th of October, October 2nd, one of the two. And he marked the entire farm with a bunch of scrapes. He was on almost all of my cameras making scrapes. And ever since the 12th, he is not shown. So, but the weather conditions today are not ideal. We've got about 17, 18 mile an hour winds that are going to be rolling in here in the next hour or two. And then on top of that, it's going to be about 75 degrees today. So that's Iowa for you. You never know what you're going to face. And it is what it is, but I'm going to be sitting basically all day. I haven't seen much midday movement on my cameras. The next 3 days are going to be just like this, so I think I'm going to try it out today, sit all day, just see what happens, and just going to quiet down and let the woods wake up and enjoy the morning.
Caleb's morning continues its strong start, and hopes are high for his all-day sit. 33 miles to the north of Caleb, duo Matt Tatey and Caleb Mason are also on stand. If you remember last season, both hunters took advantage of this stage in the rut, tagging great bucks in consecutive days, on the 8th and 9th of November respectively. Rolling into the 2021 season, a buck Matt passed called Split G2 jumped to the top of their list. With one encounter so far, and the cuttyback showing recent activity, Matt finds himself in the hot seat deep in the Iowa timber.
Well, folks, it's November 7th, and we're back in the big oak tree. Caleb had a really good sit here yesterday. Saw a lot of good rut action early on, just a lot of younger deer. Obviously, we're after Split G2, starting to wear on us a little bit. As Caleb mentioned yesterday, he was here Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, and Thursday night while we were here. I'm hoping nobody hasn't found a doe and he's still cruising through here. There's plenty of bucks cruising through this funnel, so we'll just have to see what happens. South wind, seasonably warm, record highs here the last few days for the most part. Hang with us, the saga continues. Yeah, let's see if we can get her done. He's a little young, isn't he?
The southerly winds promised in the forecast roll in, and Matt and Caleb get down, taking a quick lunch break to recharge. Right around the same time, the Cuddy Link fires off a photo. G2 is on his feet and searching, not yet locked down with the doe. The first half of the best day jumps out to a fast start. Both Caleb Griner and Matt Tatey encounter 4-year-old plus bucks, and both have knowledge their targets were on their feet during the daylight hours. 40 miles to the south, Mike Reed is also hunting. Continuing his quest for Dak, his morning action peaks when the mature 6x5 gets up out of his bed a mere 40 yards away. Another mature buck encounter, but not Mike's target, and Dak remains a no-show. Jared too was on stand, hunting a random permission farm, giving the Big Ten and Merino a break. The move doesn't pay off, and all he sees is one doe and a small buck. Hoping to change his luck, Jared moves back to the Big Ten farm, choosing to hunt the same stand he sat 2 mornings before, close to the cover overlooking a pond.
This guy's ears pinned back. Alright, it's November 7th, and Connor and I are pushing in on the Big Ten tonight. We did hunt this tree the other morning and didn't even see a deer, but we have had pictures of them recently between now and then in this area. Super close quarters, so it's going to be kind of a pins and needles hunt tonight, just because he could literally pop out and be within bow range before we even have a chance to get things ready. Hard to sit out on this date. On the drive here, we saw a handful of bucks chasing a hot doe across a wide open pit cornfield. 2 really good deer too. So let's prove that that's all it takes. 1 hot doe. We've already seen 1 mature buck, or at least a 4-year-old. I'm not sure how old he is. Got up less than 50 yards away. Was bedded right by this pond. We didn't know it until he stood up. It was a little bit of an anxious moment. We didn't know what buck it was at first, but that's how it's going to be in here. So we're going to sit tight, get quiet, and hopefully he makes an appearance tonight.
"190 miles to the southeast of Jared, team member Matt Margrave is loading up his boat, gearing up to head to his southern Illinois lease, an island along the mighty Mississippi River.
Okay, well, I'm across get up on top and got about a 300-yard walk back to the back food plot on the island here. So I'll check up with you when we get in the stand. Well, I'm running a little bit late. It looks like they've been hitting the food plot back here pretty hard. There's not much wind at all, so I'll just we'll put the ozonics on and see what happens. I don't know if you can see the stand, but that's where I'm headed. I'm anticipating the deer coming out from the south, which is to the left of me. So if we do get a little breeze, it should be pretty good.
Back in southeast Iowa, Caleb Greiner is grinding through his all-day sit, experiencing his second encounter with a big 4-year-old.
Alright guys, I'm still in the stand. Sat it out for the midday sit today. I saw Tripod this morning, I saw Turkeyfoot Jr. So all of these deer in the evening work all the way from the river bottom and transition to where I'm at, to the ag, to where I normally hunt at the food plot stand, the same stand that Max actually harvested his buck last year at the end of archery season. I still have high hopes for tonight. It is November 7th, so hopefully one of these deer can read the script and come by at 20, 30 yards and give me a nice clean pop shot.
For a third time, the buck comes by, wrapping up Caleb's November 7th hunt. Back on the southern Illinois island, the deer are beginning to move.
Me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. Oh, it's November the 7th, and it was almost 80 degrees today. I debated on not even coming down here, and it's literally 15 minutes before dark, directly downwind. Hardly wind at all. I know my scent is just falling straight down, but I got the ozonics on, and they literally came in right behind me. And I thought, man, she's looking at buck, and I turned around far enough to see, and the 9-pointer that I was actually down here after was standing right there, bounded off a couple steps, and he turned broadside for me. And I shot him at 30 yards. I seen him go down. I thought I hit him a little bit low, but I must have took the heart out because he only ran about 50 yards and crashed. So I'm going to try to get down and go take a look at him before it gets too dark. Awesome hunt. I can't believe that happened. Well, here he is. I don't know if I got enough light here for you to see him, but I figured we were thinking he was probably 5 or 6 years old. He's got an absolute monster neck on him. Just awesome.
Staying true to the course, the following morning finds Matt Tatey back on the farm, again hunting the big oak. With 2 Hoyt bows in the tree, excitement is high. However, Caleb Mason isn't the other hunter. Matt's oldest son Maddox has a tag in his pocket and is looking for his first bow buck ever.
It's November 8th. Maddox and I are down here on the farm sitting in the same tree Caleb and I sat in the last 2 days. So a south wind here again. Still really warm, about 55 degrees here this morning, but man, we saw Twin Towers here yesterday. G2 has kind of just been in the area a lot. I really wanted to get Maddox a shot at one of these, and a time when Caleb and I couldn't get out together, so I got my bow in the tree as well. Maddox is hunting here today, but if G2 happens to walk along the creek where Maddox can't shoot, then I'll shoot him, but otherwise we got lots of 20-yard shots for him and under, so I'm sure we'll see some more, so we're going to hang tight in here and just see if we can't get something big to walk through, so hang with us here, folks.
What is he waiting for? What is he waiting for?
He's looking at something. Can you shoot him?
Yeah, I can. Well, it's getting close to 9 o'clock, and I think we just had our second sighting at G2. He was to the south of us here in the creek, and I heard a blow, and a doe took off, and a buck was chasing her, and a big buck was behind her, and I think it was G2 on her, and they took off across the field, and they went straight north to the big timber, so she didn't want to be bred yet, so maybe he'll leave her and come back through here like he did yesterday, so we'll see what happens, but good sighting, and deer on their feet, that's for sure.
"28 miles to the south, Mike Reed is back on the river farm, trying a new spot.
It's gonna come under that big maple. Ooh, that's a big buck. It's the black-eyed ten. You see him? See him 3 hunts in a row. It's Sunday, November 8th, and Chase and I are set up. And we're trying something a little bit different. I've never hunted this spot on the River Bottom Farm before. But cameras and off-season scouting have told me that this is an area where you can certainly have a good hunt in the morning. We're really not far off the road or where we park. But in the middle of this big wetland is all these willow thickets. And there's just a lot of does that bed out here. So the bucks will cruise by. And we've already seen 6 bucks this morning. One was a really nice 3-year-old that came right out of the tree. And then we just saw the black-eyed 10 again. That's 3 hunts in a row. Last year we had merino red deer, daylight active. You can kind of see those little oaks off in the distance. We had a camera on a scrape over there. I believe it was November 7th. He was working that scrape in the morning. And I filmed Prodigy right here November 2nd. So historically there's always been some pretty good buck movement, or at least a chance at it. I've also got Dak on camera right here. I don't think anything's been in daylight, but we're close enough to this thicket and bedding area that he certainly could be with a doe or cruising through here mid-morning. Hopefully here Merino makes an appearance. Jared's back in the peninsula. It'd be nice if one of us could lay eyes on either one of those deer. That 6x5 came from across the road. No doubt, right?
With cruising bucks all around him, Mike's hopes are high to see one of the targets. Back to the north, Matt and Maddox are still on stand.
Mark.
Maddox said, Dad, we heard something crack in the creek, and he goes, Dad, it's a giant buck. And I looked over and I go, oh my gosh, it's G2. It's G2. Oh my gosh.
Can we go find it?
He went in the creek.
Can we go find it?
Oh my goodness. Oh man. So we sat up here. We came in here thinking that we could get Maddox a buck. And we were going to try to get him one really close on the trail in front of us. And if we didn't get him, then I was gonna bring my bow up here and self-film. So that buck, he came in and we heard a blow, and the doe took off, and he was chasing her across the CRP. And I told Maddox, I'm like, I think I even did an interview saying that he might come back through this area. And holy smokes, sure enough he did. And I was trying to self-film, so I set it down. I put the camera down in the creek. So I'm hoping that, the footage is okay. But oh man,
Did you get him in the right spot?
I think I got him in the right spot, buddy. So
We could still wait a little longer.
yeah, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait and see if we can get Maddox a buck here and go from there. So we'll hang tight. Well, we hung tight here a little bit longer. Maddox wants to go down, and he's really excited to blood trail a deer. So this will be super fun. Hopefully we find the buck right away, and I think we put a pretty good shot on it. We're gonna take everything down, and then we're gonna go get the truck, and then I'll pull back up here, and then what do you think, buddy?
Go.
A little bit trickier, so you have to stay off to the side. Okay. What? Right there? We got him! Oh my goodness, look at that Brutus. Well, November 8th, finally caught up to split G2. He's also got a split G3 on here as well, but Caleb took the morning off, told me to take Maddox out. We want to try to get him one of those 2.5-year-old bucks that we're cruising through. We saw a bunch the last few days. Needless to say, we ended up spotting split G2, and he was chasing a doe, and he ended up coming back through the creek bed. And the very one place that Maddox really couldn't shoot was back to the creek. What was really humbling for me was when Maddox was super excited for me, and knowing that he was out here to get a buck, and his dad ended up shooting one, and not what I came out here to do, but there was only one buck I was going to take, and I had one shot to do it, and that's exactly what happened. So needless to say, we got her done today, and we're going to work hard to get Caleb and Maddox a deer and see what we can't do. But super blessed, super pumped. But as always, thanks for following us along. Thanks for following Outreach Outdoors on Midwest Whitetail. Yeah. What else can you say, huh? Oh, nothing. We got her done, huh?
I don't even know how many have the same exact weather over and over again. 75 degrees and south winds. We're definitely ready for a weather change, but we came back to the same spot we were in when we saw 15 different bucks. But we don't need to see that many, we just need to see one. Obviously still hoping Merino makes an appearance.
November 7th and 8th shows us again that despite the less than ideal conditions, you can still stack the deck in your favor. Keying in on mornings and water sources has paid out big for all of the team, resulting in mature buck encounters or punch tags. And as Jared mentioned, the trump card of them all, having a hot doe near your stand always wins out. Mike and Jared wrap up their River Farm efforts without any further mature buck sightings. Merino remains ghost-like, and DAC encounters have dried up, causing concern that both are searching for does off of the property. Caleb Grinder's pursuit for turkeyfoot appears to be all but over, causing him to return to the war room preparing a new plan for his rutcation. And history might point to the 7th as the single best day of the season, but don't tell that to Matt Tatey. 2 years in a row he's tagged giant bucks on the 8th of November, and the best part about this one, Maddox was right there, observing every moment as his hero accomplished the year-long goal. We've now reached an imaginary divide in our season. Each day now, increasing number of does are coming into estrus, decreasing the odds that we will find a mature buck alone. Despite this, hope is on the horizon. A cold front is barreling towards the Midwest, finally breaking the hot spell, and just like that, the visions of November return. Biting northwest winds, steel gray skies, and the sound of the chase fill our minds. Maybe the best is behind us, and maybe it isn't. All we know for sure is that we will be there as we continue chasing November.